Okay, we're back again. Amazing. Another video this quickly? What's wrong with this guy? Anyhow, today we're not to do a retro review today. I've got a couple of movies queued up that I'm going to do some for. I won't tease which ones they are. I'll say one is an Oscar winner and one is a classic 70s film. So, on a starting note though, first things first, a toast. Rest in peace, James Caan. Amazing actor. Passed away last night at the age of 82. Anyone who knows movies really well will think Godfather. Those who don't really know movies very well will probably think Elf. Misery was another one. Rollerball. The guy had a career, guys. I tell you. Sad, but a toast to Jimmy, as he was referred to. Like a cold beer after a long day of back-to-back calls. Anyhow, let's stop farting around here. I saw Thor: Love and Thunder. I won't say how. Most of you will know how. Anyhow, review time. And there will be spoilers in this because there's a lot to unpack that they kind of shimmied into a real small movie for Marvel comparisons. 2 hours and 5 minutes, including the credits. It's a fast run, and this is honestly probably the closest I have seen Marvel come to a full-blown comedy. Like, Ragnarok had its funny moments. This is like just non-stop jokes. Most of them were really good. Some, but, I mean, overall thoughts, did I like it, yes or no? Yes. Here's where the problem lies. I don't really want to go too much into, I'll go in somewhere into the story bit, but the main problem I had with it felt like it was too rushed. There was so much story that they were trying to jam into this movie, and the amount of time they had to do it in, like, it just, but it was like I said, it was joke, which kind of, in a way, it kind of covered the horse blinders you from the fact that the story's kind of everywhere. But it felt like a Monty Python movie, actually, to be honest, in some ways. The movie opens with Bale as Gore before he becomes the God Butcher. And he's in a desert somewhere, and there's dead bodies everywhere, and he's holding his daughter, and they sort of hunker down behind this wall, the only cover they've got, basically a tree trunk or something, and she ends up dying, and he wanders into like an oasis in the desert, and I think it's Dionysus is sitting there and basically going on about how, you know, this and that about the gods and how great they are and everything. And Gore basically picks up this sword and fucking just kills him. Dead, slices him, his head off. That's the bit in the trailer where he says all gods must die. So that's like his origin story, I guess. And from there he becomes cursed because he picked up the Necro Sword, and now he's like cursed by the Necro Sword, but it gives him like godlike powers. Blah 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 blah. So that's basically the premise of the whole thing with where Gore comes from. With Jane, they actually stuck to the Mighty Thor books, and in those books, Jane has cancer, and every time that she picks up Mjolnir, it powers her up, makes her the Mighty Thor, but every time she's not holding it, her cancer comes back like tenfold, and it's just killing her every time she transforms, basically. So they kept really close to the story in that regard from the books itself, which was cool, because a lot of times these Marvel movies have just been taking like Civil War, for example. That was a great movie, but that was not at all how the books played out. And that Civil War series was a long one, and it involved everyone. It was just like the bad guys were teamed up with the good guys, and vice versa. It was fucking nuts. Really good read, though, if you get a chance. But yeah, but like I said, though, this one they kept pretty close to the actual story in the books. Let's see what else. Russell Crowe as Zeus. Oh my god, fucking hilarious. He's wearing like the gold armor you see in the trailer, and he's got kind of like looks like his gladiator skirt, the kind of thing that he's wearing on the bottom. But in the movie, it's made out of this really thin lace, like a ballerina skirt. And when he walks down the stairs to talk to Thor at one point, he literally lifts up his dress like this and tiptoes down while they're talking about him being the strongest god in the world and everything. Fucking riot. Taika Waititi as Korg, again, always fucking good. Guardians, if you're in here for a Guardians movie, don't hold your breath. Maybe 8-10 minutes at most. Not in it very much at all. The movie is mostly Korg, Thor, Jane, and Valkyrie doing their thing, going around. Lady Sif shows up at one point in a really short scene, which was kind of goofy too, because Gore had attacked this planet that she was on, and Thor shows up there finally, and he's like, "Okay, well, I'm here to save you," and she's like, "No, let me die on the battlefield, and that way I'll go to Valhalla." And he's like, "Well, you've got to actually die during the battle for that to work." And she's like, "Ah, shit." So she's in it for a very brief minute. Loses an arm too, apparently. Thor says, "Well, maybe the arm's in Valhalla." Anyhow, like I said, there was some pretty goofy stuff in this movie throughout. Hemsworth is basically playing it like surfer dude, like, "Hey bro," version of Thor, to a degree. But like I said, it's not a bad movie. It's fast paced, that's for sure. Because clocking in, the credits alone are like 15 minutes, so we're talking like an hour 48 for the entire runtime of the film. Yeah, it felt like there was, well, there is actually I've heard a 4-hour extended cut of this that Taika Waititi and Chris Hemsworth have watched. And let's see if, well, Snyder Cut, let's go, guys. But it's felt like a Cliff's Notes version of a longer film, if you get what I mean. But not that like I said, I enjoyed the movie. It just felt a little rushed. And oh my God, another part that made me howl laughing was Stormbreaker. They kind of showed it in a clip on one of the talk shows. But Stormbreaker, the entire movie, is acting like the pissed off girlfriend when he sees Mjolnir. And every time, there's one part where he picks up Mjolnir in front of Jane, and he's like, "Oh, I just wanted to see if I could still do it." Boom, puts it back down again. And then the camera pans around, Jane takes off walking, and pans around to the side view of Thor. And from the other side, you just see Stormbreaker come out like this really slowly. And every time Stormbreaker shows up, he looks guilty too. It's fucking hilarious. But yeah, I thought that was really good. I'm not going to get into spoilers on the ending battle because, I got to leave something for you guys to see when the time comes. Ending battle is kind of I'll say it's in two segments, kind of. There's like a lead up, then they back off for a minute and regroup, and then there's another fight following that. And I'm not going to tell you who dies or who lives or anything like that. Wait and see. It's a pretty cool fight, though, because you saw it in the trailers. Whenever they're in the shadow realm where Gore is, everything's black and white. And the only thing that makes any sort of light emission is like their blades clashing while they're fighting. So that was really cool. The goats are also very funny. They just scream and scream and scream and scream for no apparent reason. But yeah, long story short, worth seeing. It's a weird movie. Like, think Ragnarok, and like literally Taika Waititi in one interview, he was saying this is like if we went into a classroom and asked a bunch of 10-year-olds, "What do you want to see in this movie?" And they just threw ideas at them and they just took them all. Like, they throw everything into this movie. It's wacky, wild, crazy. Might be too much for some people because it definitely is Marvel's first full-blown comedy, I would say. Same way that Doctor Strange was supposed to be their first real horror movie. And, well, I didn't mind Doctor Strange. I was expecting a bit more multiverse in my Multiverse of Madness, but anywho, 10 minutes, good, nice, short wrap up review for the movie. So, opens tomorrow wide, opens tonight. Theaters, preview show screenings open internationally already. Should be on Disney Plus August 17th this year. 45-day window. Remember, people? From the date the movie hits the theater, at 45 days, digital, iTunes, on demand. Good to go. Anyhow, I'm going to get cracking on these retro reviews for probably in the next day or so. I'm off on the weekend, so I'll probably get something up then. But just wanted to pop on a quick Thor review, and we will catch you on the next one.